Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. Hopefully everything is still working and everyone can hear me. It's the first time doing a stream in a little while, but happy to be getting started again. So first, a couple of I'm assuming that's good, Kim. Can everybody hear me okay? I hope so. All the indicators are suggesting that everyone can hear me. Brilliant. Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things to get started with. Yes, I know, Maurice. It's on my list. I noticed it whenever I turned on the VM. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need to rebuild that before Friday's stream. Okay, so first things first. This is the first stream since Christmas and New Year, so Happy New Year to everyone on the stream. Appreciate you all being here as always. The second thing I wanted to mention is that, where are we? You might see this thing here, right? So anyone that follows me on Facebook / Twitter will notice, or might have seen that I've rearranged my office. And as a result of that, the green screen that I was using no longer works. So I've treated myself to an Elgato green screen, which is one of these that you literally just pull up and you push down and it all just works. The slight issue is that that's set up just literally behind the edge of this desk. So you can see my desk, which I'm going to try and get just a bit of green fabric just to see if I can cover that and see if the green screen will take. Paint the desk green. Love it. I hadn't thought of that one, Kim. I'll give you that one for points for imagination. Want to see the roll up? Oh, really? Oh, okay. Hold on a sec. Let's see. So where are we? Yeah. How'd you like that? It was good, right? So it's pretty clever, and the nice thing about it is that it kind of sits in this. It's about yay big canister on the floor, and it kind of nicely tucked away when it's down. So it's a little bit better than the one I had previously, which it kind of had this tripod stand thing that it wasn't bad. It just occupied a little bit of space, and it got to the point where I couldn't be bothered to put it away. So the green screen was always up, but at least this one you can pull it up and down quite easily. Like the banners you can get. What banners? What am I missing, Maurice? What am I missing? Okay, so I think that was the only kind of housekeeping things that I want to talk about. You had one. Oh yes, no, I see. Yes, similar to that. Exactly that. Yes. The Elgato one, they're not cheap. That's the only thing, right? But they are very, very good quality. Now, I'd looked at getting an Elgato green screen when I first started doing this streaming thing, but there weren't any in stock. You couldn't get them anywhere. So it's not cheap. That's the only thing. But it's very, very high quality and it's very good at what it does. So I treated myself, right? And yeah, it's really good. Okay, so for tonight, what I had envisioned looking at was GitReleaseManager. So we're still kind of focused on GitReleaseManager. What I've just been working on just before coming live on the stream is I was doing a little bit of. I'm not signed in. What's that? Over 40 million developers. Beautiful. All right, dismiss that though. I was doing a little bit of triage of the open issues for GitReleaseManager. That was one of the things that Kim and I had spoken about doing. So I've been through and I've taken an initial stab at what's left to do. I've broken out some of the kind of future issues into future milestones so that they kind of don't we don't get sidetracked a little bit. So, fun tip: don't show your password. I'm going to try very hard to. That's my aim. That's my New Year's resolution: is to not give away any sort of token or password or any sensitive information in 2020. Right? That's my aim. I'm gonna try very hard. And I do have. We've still spoken about it. I haven't set these up properly yet. But I've still got my YubiKeys to set up. What will we get when you do? Well, haven't showed you these, have I? Hold on, I was showing Stevie these earlier. You like my new socks? Or can you see that? Like new socks? No, we're over this way. As part of a Kickstarter, I got some socks. You're not getting those though. Those are mine. Another chance to see. That's just rude. That's just rude. You guys have no faith in me whatsoever. I know I'm not logged into GitHub, but I might be able to do it without giving away too much pertinent information. But no, the socks was part of a Kickstarter for. Everyone heard of Commit Strip? They did a Kickstarter where they were doing a new book, and they were giving away, or not giving away. You had to pay them, obviously, but they were creating a new book, and you got socks and posters. It was ace. It's not quite 5, Maurice. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. 4, maybe. 5, not sure. One of them was really quite bad, wasn't it? I can't remember. Oh, I remember how it was. The last one was. The last one wasn't necessarily my fault. It was kind of an unexpected side effect of some coding I was doing. I wasn't necessarily expecting the code to be emitted in plain text, but it was, which is unfortunate. So the aim for tonight. So I've done the bit of code triaging. So some of the open issues on GitReleaseManager I've pushed out to the 0.11 release, and there's a couple of ones in there that I'm not entirely sure what they mean, what the person wanted when they created the issue. So I've pushed them out to 0.12. And what's left is 10 open issues before we can ship this version of GitReleaseManager. That one should be a bug if it's not. I'm going. This one, I think, might have been resolved earlier. I'm not even signed in, so I won't be able to label it, will I? Okay, let's try it. I'm going to try and sign into GitHub without giving away my password. So let's just give it a little try here. Everyone close their eyes. Don't look. Right? Don't look. Well, we better get signed in. Copy. And then paste it in here. And then I'm going to need to, as per my security consultant's advice, I am going to need to close off this window when I type in my authenticator token. Let me just find it first, and then I'll go off stream just slightly. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're back. I'm signed into GitHub now, and I don't think I gave anything away. And Kim's just label it as a bug. Beautiful. So this one I think has been solved already. Copy paste something else. Oh, that's probably a good idea. Let's do that too. Copy. There we go. Right. we're sorted. It's all good. So this one I think we fixed. As part of another issue, as part of an ongoing thing, I think we fixed the issue where case sensitivity of configuration in the YAML file is ignored, but I need to verify this. I need to verify that. But there's a couple of other things on here that just need to be done. So like updating the NuGet API key. When I did the last release of GitReleaseManager, the actual push to NuGet failed because the API key that's stored as an environment variable was out of date. So I need to update that one. So those two kind of just need to get done. There's no coding associated with those two. We can just do those ones. I'm still keeping. See, I no words. So the issue that I was working on, which was adding integration tests for running GitReleaseManager, it's getting there. It's getting close. So I took an initial stab at doing the tests. A lot of the things I want to be able to run are now possible. So if we scroll down here, or what I added in was some additional files that represent what the release notes should contain. And then I'm doing a comparison between that and what's actually exported. So that's there and live and kind of works now. There's a couple subtleties around how and when we're going to run these integration tests. And the reason I say that is because if we go over here, if we load up this repository, let's make this a little bit smaller again. But on the subject of while I'm doing this, what's everyone's New Year's resolutions? What are they? If you could share them, any amazing plans for anyone? Git tools, GitReleaseManager. So the reason I say that there's a subtlety is that do not have one. So Kim's not got a New Year's resolution. That's fine. Then you don't have anything to break. Like it. If we go into tools and we look at cake.recipe and we look at the testing file and we look for the integration testing task, which is in here somewhere. It's near the bottom. Run integration tests. So it takes a dependency on default. Now, when we run on CI, we want to run the continuous integration task so that all the packages are created, so that all of the publishings happen that need to happen. When you try and run integration tests, it won't do all of that packaging. So I'm either going to need to modify the CI systems YAML file, so whether it's AppVeyor, whether it's Azure DevOps, to have two tasks, one which is to run the packaging task and then one to run the integration tasks, or we'll need to modify the DAG, the directed acyclic graph that we're running as part of our execution in the recipe.cake file. So manipulate the DAG in the same way that we're doing here. Manipulate that DAG so that the integration testing task takes a different dependency. So something to think about. Maurice's got secrets. Once my plan is a bit more solid, I'll share it, but I will definitely tweet about it. That's something to be keep an eye on. Sounds interesting. So for that reason, I kind of thought that I would stop looking at the integration task issue and try and start tackling some of the other ones. So for that reason, I'm going to switch over to my develop branch. And I'm going to make sure that we've got everything from upstream. Git rebase upstream develop. And then I'm going to push that to my origin. So we're all up to date. And Kim's saying, or maybe have the GitReleaseManager app there build trigger a build on the test repository. Then it could be implemented for a PR as well. Not sure how to do that though. Maybe have... Oh. GitReleaseManager app there build trigger a build on the test repository. And yes, so what Maurice is saying, I'll come back to what Kim was saying in a second. What Maurice is talking about there is Poolbot. Poolbot is amazing. Poolbot is very good at what it does. So let's, for anyone that's not sure what Poolbot is, GitHub Poolbot. Right, so Poolbot is this is the one that I've used before. I don't think this is the same one that Maurice uses though. No, maybe it is. Maybe it is. So the whole point in this little app is to keep a fork up to date with the upstream that it's with the repository that it's merged from. So Poolbot will automatically send in PRs into your fork when changes have been made in the origin repository or the upstream, depending on however you call it. So it's very good at what it does. I do use it, but for repositories that I am interacting with on a day-to-day, if not even multiple days between it, I still prefer to do that manually for some reason. It's more of a sanity check more than anything. So I like to do that. So on repositories like this where I am keeping up to date with the upstream, I'm okay with doing what I just did. That I don't know, Kim. That I don't know. Certainly the PRs that it raises, they're merged automatically. So, or I've set it up so that they merge automatically. Probably. I genuinely don't know. But the conversation with Maurice around that came from the core team packages repo. I think I need to set up Poolbot to use, or set up Poolbot to work on that repository so that my fork is always up to date. So I think it could be useful for you, Kim. I mean, I use it on at least one repository, and I think I'm going to add it to the core team packages repo so that if I do need to make a change in there, I can do it, or just kind of, it's already up to date, and I don't have to worry about keeping that one up to date. So, what I'd thought about doing tonight was checking to see if there was any, or I was going to touch base with Kim about this one. So, is this one good to go? Or, no, it's still draft. So, what's left on this one, Kim, in terms of moving forward? I guess I could start by answering your question. Quick question. Should informal messages be output without a logging level? Should informational messages be outputted without a logging level? I think it makes sense to have logging level for verbose, debug, warning, error, and fatal, but not necessarily for information. Yeah, I could pull this up as well. Copy. So what Maurice is showing here is an example PR that was created by Poolbot. So it has created a pull request for a single commit that was added to the upstream repository, which is where Maurice's fork came from, and then it's automatically merged that in and put it onto his fork. So it's very clever. It's absolutely very clever. Should informational messages be outputted without a logging level? I think it makes sense to have a logging level for verbose, but not necessarily for information. So I'm confused by that point, Kim. Why would we? Is there not an informational logging level? Why would we not want to specify it? Oh, I see. I see. So anything that we definitely wanted to output to the console would be all informational ones, and then anything that is different from that would be prefixed with. I could see that making sense. Yeah, I'd be happy to go ahead with that. So was there other questions in here? You said there's quite a few things. So what have we actually been doing here? Let's have a quick look at this PR. So we added in Serialog, which makes sense. We added in. Oh yeah, I did have a quick look at this PR. So we've got a sync, which is the console one is. So this will output Serialog to the running console. This one will output Serialog messages to a file. I did look at that one. Yes, this was amazing. I had never seen this before. The usage of this. I was quite impressed with this. I didn't realize that this kind of thing even existed. So I was mightily impressed when I saw this. Let's have a quick look in here. Serialog. Oh, so you've added a try around that so that we can add an exception at the end. Makes sense to me. That's kind of so you went looking for something. Absolutely, that's the best way. Oh, I see. You put the try at the higher level to then remove the try on the individual ones. Makes sense. Okay. Makes sense in my head. Adding Serialog there, adding it to the integration tests. But the reason we spoke about doing Serialog was basically to improve the what we can log. At the minute, it was a hand-rolled logging implementation, very, very basic. But the fact that we wanted to have a bit more control over what was output and when, adding in something like Serialog makes a lot of sense. That was the general idea. I will be removing that pragma and move it to the global special file. No worries. I just thought I'd have a quick look at it while we're here. So this is all just changing over to use the locker instance. We removed that file because we're not using it anymore. All looks good to me. Okay, so the one that I was going to be looking at then, I'd have thought if we look at the 0.10.0 milestone, and have a look at the open ones. Like I say, this is a bug that we just need to fix, or at least prove whether it is a bug or not. And Kim will be adding additional debug logging so we know when calls to GitHub are being done. That makes sense as well. Cool. The one that I thought about having a look at was not that one. This one. I thought about this one was raised by Dan. I thought this one would be an easy one to fix if it's not already fixed because we've been doing other things. So I thought I would take a look at this one. So we're going to do a git switch -c feature gh-108 from the develop branch. Okay, so maybe I won't create the branch. And I'll just go and check first. So where would that be? So that was specifically on the no indication if file to upload. So that's when we're adding assets. So that maybe came as a result of some of the refactorings that have being done. So if we have a look in here, GitReleaseManager, GitHub provider, and then have a look for add assets. That was it there. Release equals null for each file. Well, there it is, look at that. If the file doesn't exist, required asset. Okay, so this has been added. In which case, that makes that one even easier. We have just checked, and looks like during the refactoring that has been happening on GRM recently, this has now been taken care of. It will be shipping in the next release of GRM. Thanks for raising this. I'm looking. There is a warning for that one, I believe. No error though. I think you would see the output message if you click the link. Following on from this conversation. Perhaps, but surely GitReleaseManager would have thrown an error here rather than having no warning this was happening. The side of GRM could be the decision mistake. Silently failed. File didn't exist. It doesn't seem right to fail silently to me. If I was packaging my app in the chocolate package itself rather than using the chocolate package, just linking to the GitHub, I wouldn't have spotted it. So looking at the code then, hold on. So we are saying write warning. Requested asset to be uploaded doesn't exist. I'm pondering. So let's have a look, see what would happen here. So we do that in a couple of places. We'll call add assets. One is when we directly do it, and the other one, that's within itself. So in here, so if we just throw at this point, it would. I mean, I'm talking myself into it. So what I'm thinking is failed upload if the file doesn't exist. If a file is specified, so that's exactly what's going through my head as well, Kim. So that would be a case of changing this to be, I'm going to assume that there's a write error on here. It's probably not. Oh, there is. Requested asset doesn't exist, and rather than continue, we would say var log message equals cut log message put that in there. That doesn't look right. I see the problem. String that format, requested asset, blah blah blah, and then throw new exception. Block message. Okay. And then what else? This part of it is including the SHA. If the file doesn't exist, and then it will have been thrown out of the loop. So this check here is actually not needed anymore because it'll never have gotten to this point without. So this is actually superfluous, but that's probably needed for getting the name and things. So it's fine. It doesn't do any harm to leave it there. So we've modified that to be an error rather than. I think that makes sense. I'm with you, Kim, on that one. I think we should make that an error rather than a warning. So let's do what I was going to do, which was git switch -c feature gh hyphen 108 from the develop branch. And let's go ahead and gh-108 raise an exception when asset doesn't regarding the pullbot. Say is Manfred currently doing moderation? Is he? He's expecting a woohoo. That's what he's after. So I'll look and see where he's getting to. Oh, I expected that to work. Go away. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring up the moderation queue. See what's currently sitting at. Oh, 15. Look at that. Look at that. Good effort, Manfred. Good effort. Regarding the pullbot, is it required to create a config file, or does it just work without one? Not really clear to me from the docs. Yeah, no, I didn't have to set anything up. It was 20 before the stream. I wonder if we're going to get to 0 before the end of the stream. I wonder. What are these pending ones? Are these new ones? I don't like seeing that one. Hold on. Oh. I'm really going to get started doing moderation now. See, this one shouldn't be broken. This one should. Likely that one too. 1, 2, 3. That one maybe not. Yeah, but the problem being that I'm not saying automatically approved. They're currently stuck. This has happened a few times, so it's got both automated validation and the automated testing have passed, but it's still saying stuck at pending automated review. So it's done, the two automated parts have happened, but it hasn't moved it on to the next step, which is the final human moderation. So these ones, there's at least 3 of them that will never make it into the ready queue. So unless someone goes looking for them, this has been happening. Oh yeah, some of them will be trusted. No, absolutely. But even with the trusted packages, they're stuck. So the trusted packages won't automatically get moved either because they're currently stuck saying pending automated review, but both automated reviews have passed. So they're broken. They're stuck in limbo. They would never move. So I've been having to go back in and manually approve them. until we figure out what's going on. But I suspect it's something to do with the intermittent issues that we've been having with the website. So yeah, this one again is it's both testings passed, but they're stuck in pending automated review. So I'll have to remember to go back and fix those if Manfred doesn't pick them up. Anyway, it only counts when your process stuck in limbo. Okay, so I was creating that, and then I was writing this raise exception when ACID doesn't exist. Currently, GRM will write a warning to a log file when an asset isn't there, but in this scenario, we feel it would be better to raise an exception. Sorry, what? I wasn't thinking about any of those things, but yeah. Is that actually what it's called in Inception? I don't think I would have known that. Git push origin. I'm gonna click on that. The magical top that spins for hours. Hold on. Is this the thing that I was thinking about buying? That's very similar to the thing that I was looking at buying. I didn't realize it was a Kickstarter though. Hold on. Let me find the one that I was looking at. What's it called? See if we can find it. Eternal rotating gyroscope. Yeah, I was looking at this one. I don't know if it's the same one or a similar one, but it claimed to be eternal. I was looking at that. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Limbo is a deep subconscious level where knowledge of the reality is lost forever. The person stuck in limbo will believe that limbo is real world. The body of the person in the real world will stay in a state of coma. Returning from limbo should be sequential with one higher level at a time. This is the reason they consider multiple levels as a risk. When someone is stuck in limbo, then another person with a knowledge of the level should guide him or her out of limbo. There you go. Indeed. Stop to Wikipedia. But does he have the same uptime as Wiki? Hold on. And I thought of this. Limbo. Hold on. What's all going on? Copy. Too many links to keep up with. Play Dead's Limbo. Never heard of that one. No. Lost on me. Right. Did I push that? I think I did. So now I should be able to go over here. And I should be able to click on this. Yeah, I don't think Markdown does work. I'm going to request that from here. Oh, and I've got to fill in this. I should be a good person and fill this in. I will say cut. I keep using that. Cut. Description. Undo. paste. And we will say fixes 108. If the file doesn't exist, the user should be informed. Otherwise, information from the release could get forgotten about. No, not tested, but expected to work without it. Such a lame thing now. Never mind. My code requires this. It does. Probably. No. I have read it. Yes. No. All units and tests pass. Sure. There won't be any tests in that scenario, so that's great. I've honestly stopped removing comments like those. Won't show up anyhow in the message. That's true. For me, it's kind of knowing that I've filled in that section, really. So I'll leave that one for Kent to look at and see if he agrees with the change. Okay, so what else? That was this one. And if we look at milestones here, what else did we have to do? Document the label command. That should be a relatively simple one to do. That was one we just did. Yeah, I was curious about this one. The release is created when no closed exists on the milestone. So this one actually flies in the face of another issue that was raised, which was this one, which suggested that they wanted that as a feature. So that was on another milestone. That was on, I bumped that out to here. Can't create empty releases. Oh no, that's slightly different. Can't create an empty release without milestone or input file path. So that's different. So that's the ability to create an empty one. Fine. This one is releases created when no closed issues exist in a milestone. So I was going to verify this. And I was going to do that by first checking my environment variable, which was git tools, GitHub username. I was going to type password there, but I didn't. So I think my environment variables are set up, so that's good. So I was going to validate whether this actually happens or not. So let's go and see what happens. This should be the case. If there are no closed issues on a milestone, an exception should be thrown in the same way as when there are incorrect labels. I wonder if this is just an old issue. So let's test it, shall we? Let's open up GitReleaseManager and build where we are. Let's git checkout. Still doing it. It's 2020. I'm still using checkout. We'll get there one day. Really? Git switch. Develop. Can't even type develop. Really? Get there. There we go. So Oh, sorry, Kim, you're replying to Maurice's comment. That's my comment. So, I think Kim might have just merged the PR. Let's have a look. Oh, there's a comment anyway. Oh no, I got excited there. It was another notification. I just there was a Slack notification from the Git tools org. I thought it was you. It's fine though. There's no rush. Close all of this, and let's go into this. Let's just build it, and we'll run it from the command line. Probably the easiest way. Clean. Let's make sure it all builds. Clean succeeded. Rebuild. While that's building, let's just have a wee sneaky peek at how Manfred's getting on. Sneaky peek. Oh, he's down to 13, look. I think he's going to get there. Copy. What's Kim saying here? Move unclosed issues to the next future milestone. No, I don't think it would. But why? What am I missing, Kim? Why would that? So this issue is saying a release is created when no closed issues exist on the milestone. This one is saying when you create a release, if there are unclosed issues, move them to another milestone. I don't see how they're in conflict. But I'm probably missing something. Let's do this. I'm going to build this from using the cake build as well. That's perfectly fine. I mean, I do that all the time, I'll be honest. But I mean, to me, what this one's saying, or this is what I want to test. I want to create a milestone that has no issues assigned to it. So it may have an open issue, but it doesn't have a closed issue. If it doesn't have a closed issue, then it shouldn't create the release in the first place. But like I say, that flies in the face of doing that one. But that one, I think, needs to be an explicit thing. And as you said, maybe adding the empty option to allow the creation when there's no issues. But I want to test to see whether this does its thing or not. But now I see there's more notifications in Slack, and this time it has been done. Look at that. Thank you very much. I'm going to say delete branch. Beautiful. Okay, so we're back to here. Just running the build. Build. essentially that, Maurice. Yeah. I hadn't allow empty makes sense to me. Yeah. But that would just be an additional option added into the as a parameter to the command. So we'll just have to see. I think I'm convinced that this one. Was fixed. So I'm confused as to how it might have stuck back in again. But let's get the build working and then we can test it out. Let's just wait for this to finish. We'll see what we get to. I was thinking more of an option that would disable the code without looking for issues at all. It's like when you want an empty commit in Git. And I think we're talking about the same thing. So it'll essentially be you're doing the Git release manager create, and then normally you'd specify a milestone to work against. So we'll remove that, the looking against that milestone or looking for issues when the empty flag or the allow empty flag is passed in. Yep, I think that makes sense in my head. This build will finish, hopefully. And when it does... Ooh. Would it? Allow empty would imply that you would still add release notes if there are any. Would it though? Oh, why did that fail? Oh. No, that was the issue we had last time. I've got the wrong places installed. Allow empty would imply that you would still add release notes if there are any. Would it? As in, oh, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, no, you're right. So it's either an explicit empty, i.e. create an empty release, or it's an allow empty, which still checks, and if there's nothing there, it allows it to happen. I see the distinction now. In which case, yes, I see, Kim, you're right. So it's, but force empty doesn't sound right. Maybe it is just empty. I caught up with what you're trying to say there, Kim. No, that makes sense to me. That does. Okay, so let's test this issue that we are working on here. So we're going to look at the build artifacts. So we should have something in build artifacts, which are the published applications. One's going to be the CLI, and then that one. So let's go in there and see if we can run it. So we're going to cd into build artifacts, temp, published applications, GitReleaseManager CLI, net 461, and then is that where we're at? Yes, it is. So if we run GitReleaseManager exe, right. So right now we are going to use the test repository that we've been using before. So this is going to be in Git tools, and then fake. It is a fake repository releases. So if the one that we've been using is this one. But if I go into here and let's open this issue. So let's reopen it. So the scenario that we're trying to recreate is release is created when no closed issue exists in the milestone. So we have a milestone that has one open issue but 0 closed. In which case, when we run this, I would expect an error, or I would want an error, because there are no closed issues on this milestone. But if it creates an empty release, I would say that that's a bug. Right? So, let's see if we can do a create. And it's been a whole 2 weeks since the last time I did this, so I'm clearly going to forget how to do it. So the owner is going to be git tools. The repo is going to be fake repository. The username is going to be env git tools underscore GitHub username. That's the part so I don't give away my username and password. This part is going to be git, too many T's, git tools, GitHub password. See, technically I think I could. I'm in the habit of using the username and password. I don't know if I've got an actual token variable, but in this case the password and the token is actually the same thing. Anyway, so blah 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 blah, and then the tag. So -m is then 02012. So let's go ahead and run that and see what happens. Oh, it's a V. Sorry, my bad. Milestone. See. Yes, no, absolutely. So, yes. So, depending on which route, yes, no, you're absolutely correct. One of which will be deprecated at some point. The other one is the one that will remain. No, absolutely. So, if we go over here and we look at releases, what did it actually create? See, I think that's wrong. What do we think? Is that an error? So it's created a release for the V012 milestone, and by default that is wrong. I agree. Okay, in which case we need to figure out how to fix it. So let's go and create a little git check. I'm going to do that again. Git switch -c. Git switch -c feature gh hyphen 72. Let's go back a bit. 72 from the develop branch. Create a new branch. And let's see if we can figure out where it's doing it. So I'm going to need to look in the GitHub provider for the create release from, so it'll be specifically the create release from milestone. So we find the release and then we generate the release notes builder. So that's the problem then. Because get release from tag name. Oh no, that's not that one. It's in here. That's the problem. Because this release notes builder is just going to go in there and it is going to find what does this guy do again? Release notes builder is then going to call build release notes. Alright? No, that's the next line. Build release notes. Oh, hold on, look. What's this else? So there's nothing that says if the issues.count is equal to 0. We would have thrown an exception there, right? You see, it's not actually filtering at that point, or is it? Is it filtering that by closed? Check for valid issues. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Return issues. I'm going to do that again. So get issues by default is because that's just going to get me. Oh, hold on, what's going on in there? That's not what we wanted. Go to implementation. This one. Right, no, I see what, yeah, so what Kim is saying is, I've currently lost my place now. We were here. So we keep that open. So if the issues.count is greater than 0, do stuff. Else, if the number of commits is greater than 0, do this. But what I was looking for and what I was trying to piece together was implementation here, get issues async. Oh no, hold on. So it is only returning the closed issues at this point. So this one will return to where it was called. It will return 0 here. So there will be a case when the issues are equal to 0. So, and otherwise the open issue would have been included. Correct. Right. So what's going through my head is I want to put another if statement in here that says, because I mean, I haven't come across this issue because I always assign an issue to the milestone. So I've never seen an issue I've never seen this case happen. It's an edge case that I haven't tested for. So if I think we always want release notes. That's the whole point in GitReleaseManager. Is to create a set of release notes based on the issues or from a file that you upload. So to not have any issues assigned to the milestone, creating a default only issues with excluded labels. What do you want to happen in that one? In that case, what do you want to happen? If you have, it's a valid point, you would have issues count equal. You would have that. What? Okay, let's do this one first, and we'll come back to that. Let's come back to it, right? So if issues.count equals 0, then we're going to handle that explicitly, and we're going to say throw new exception, and we're going to give that a log message, and we're going to say var log message is equal to something, and then log message is equal to, no, what we're doing, logger dot write error log message, throw new exception log message. No, let's try and be very explicit about what this current state is. So this is going to say as much as I would want to write that, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could. I don't know. Var log message equals computer says no. No closed. This will be a string.format. I think it will. String.format. Milestone type. No closed issues have been found for milestone. General failure. No closed issues have been found for milestone. Aborting creation of release. If I can spell release properly. Right. So while I think about that some more, I'm going to need to do a wee build here. Let's have another PowerShell open. Critical user error. Indeed. That is exactly what it is. All is lost, abandoned ship. Love it. Or what is it that Chocolate says? You must be smarter than the average bear trying to create an issue. Try to create a release with no closed issues. That's what maybe we should put in. GitHub, organizations, Git tools, GitReleaseManager. Let's see what we built there. Sure. Pepcac. there was a user who didn't like the "you must be smarter than the average bear" error message. There absolutely was. What about this package? Oh, hold on. You guys are having a conversation in the chocolatey Slack. I would suggest to ask them to resume the package ID. Rename. Seems like you guys have got it covered. Is there people talking on Gitter? There are people talking on Gitter. I was talking about Slack, Stevie. No, there was some chat on the community moderators channel. I'm in all the chats. I'm in Spectrum as well. There's nobody in Spectrum, but I'm in Spectrum. There are a lot of chats. Discord, I'm on that too. There's so many notifications. WhatsApp, Messenger. Too many to keep up with. I really only have Discord for one thing, but even then I don't really drop it. I don't have it open all the time, so I kind of fall away with the chats. I never keep up with it. I was never an ICQ user. I've never used it. MSN, yes. ICQ, no. Never had one. Yahoo Talk. It was MSN Messenger was the main one that I used. It was never the Yahoo stuff. AOL Messenger. Not so much. No. It was BT Open Zone, or BT, what was it called? BT something that I had. So it was never really the AOL side of stuff. Let's try this again. Oh, it's already created. So, came up with the right thing though. So, let's go and check that fake release and remove it. Oh, Teams, yeah. Skype, yes. All of them. All of them. Sign me up. Net meeting. Not so much. So, we've got an exception now. So it will say, no closed issues have been found for milestone V01 do. Abort in creation of release. Beautiful, right? That part is handled. But now, the spanner that Kim's thrown in the mix here is he wants me to do something, which is get 13 OSS. Let's go and grab a pre-made one. Which is going to be in here. Let's grab this guy. It's the name that I always struggle with for some reason. Create new file. Let's put that in there. Yes. And what we want is issues to exclude build. So if I were to take this and say copy and edit this thing. I don't blame you for everything, Kim. Just some things. Just a few things. You keep me honest, that's the thing. I probably wouldn't even have thought of that. That's really what it comes down to. That's not going to allow me to do that, is it? Oh, I just want to open it. Just let me open it. I guess it's the part of being on the stream is you don't think about some of these things, and it's not until someone says something you're like, oh, that totally makes sense. Right, so with that GitReleaseManager.yaml file in play, if I were to go to this release, which we put here, and we were to create an issue, let's create a new one. I'm going to keep that one open, and this is a sure, let's use a bug template, and let's just delete everything. This issue shouldn't be included in release. And we'll just say build issue. Not even sure if I've got a build. No, we'll have to create a label for that. And if I go into labels, and this will actually test part of this. Let's put this in as lowercase, because this may, I was going to say that might test one of the other issues that was kicking about, which was the config being I think I knew that. I think I did know that. Test. I did know that. Anyway, too late. Build. Hold on. Maurice has just put something in there. So, build issue, we're going to close it. We're going to assign it to that milestone, right? So if we attempt to create that release again, it should take into consideration that YAML file, and it should create a release. Look at that. So what did it do? If we go to fake repository and we look at releases, you see. So in this scenario, Kim, you suggested that what you wanted was it to fail in the same way. Is that correct? Oh, hold on. Hold on. I have to verify this first, Manfred. Let me check the moderation queue here. I still see 2 submitted packages. We're not at 0 yet. I can't give the old woohoo yet. It's still saying 2. It's very close though. It's very, very close. It was. Yeah, can't yet though. Sorry. It's 0 here. I mean, it could be a caching issue. Which web are you on? Accept cookies. It's here somewhere. I'm on web 3. Which web are you on? Are you on 1, 2, or 3? I'm on the interwebs. It's not web 1 or web 3, so is it web 2? Nope. None of them. Sorry, Manfred. Saying 2 on my machine. Oh, we're getting all sorts of different responses then. No. Can't do it. Oh, look! 0. I don't know. I don't actually know which one to trust anymore, though. But in fairness, I can't. My unfortunately, I could scream into this microphone and it would curtail it. I've got it set up so the maximum output that will come into the mic is curtailed at a highest level, so it'll prevent it going through. I do apologise about that, but show us. Oh, sure. Here we go. Look, can you see this? See this little red mark here? Anything I say won't go above that. So I go woo. It stops it going out. And I do apologise, but I have a max set up just for that exact reason. So if I sneeze into the mic, it won't deafen anyone that's listening in the old earphones. So, but I do, and regardless of all that stuff, I do very much appreciate your effort on the old moderation queue there, Manfred. It's very much appreciated. So, thank you. Right, anyway, back to this issue. So, we don't get to this point. Issues count is greater than 0, so we're in here. Thank you very much for the cheer, Manfred. And I will go into Slack just now and say, I don't know if we haven't got a plus bot in here, have we? Thank you very much. There we go. So, but where does it? Where? Oh, it's in here. It does the add issues. So is it in there that it does the append? Oh no, it's for each in issues to include. Append it. Oh, I'm getting so confused now. Where labels, upper and variant, features don't count. So where do we actually know whether or not it gets included or not? For each issue label in there, we append it. So you get the exclude labels in the initial call. No, that part I'm obviously not following this code properly. So in this get issues call, we did this. Let's just sanity check back to this. Get issues async is this one. So in here, we were asking for all the closed issues. Okay, so we've got all the closed issues. Then we say check for valid labels. And in here, we are finding for each issue label in issue.labels, we count equals we count all the ones that are in the labels to include, and we count all the ones that are in the labels to exclude. And we find that if it's not equal to 1, then bad issue. Expected to find a single label with either 1. Right? Okay, fine. Otherwise, we don't return anything. We just, at that point, we throw an issue. So, do we need another final check that says, for all the issues that are included in the issues, are they only excluded? Is that what we need? I'm just seeing Manfred's tweets on Twitter. I'm going to have to like that. Thank you very much. I should concentrate on my stream. I'm getting distracted, but I see minions dancing on Twitter, and I have to look around. I should concentrate. So we get the issues. What's the correct way to do this? Do we do it as we're going through the issues, as we're going through and getting all of these? Or do we do it as a final check? Do we do it within this check for valid labels? But at that point, we're not checking all the issues, we're checking the issues individually at that point. So, should we do a final sanity check? I'm starting to picture the code of how I could do that, but what would be the best way of doing that, do we think? And where? In the place you increment the count of issues, add another count value and only add the excluded issues count when the included issues are more than 0. Does that make sense? No. As in, assign a global variable here and increment it as we're going in check for valid labels? Because we need to reset that. Oh no, you're saying, okay. So further down in here then? In which case I'm not following what you're saying. In the place you increment the count of issues. Here. Oh no, that's not actually right. This is not counting, this is not incrementing the count. This is incrementing the count of the labels. And assign the excluded count to that variable. But this is only acting on a single issue. We only want to error if all of the issues for that current milestone are excluded ones. Is that right? So that's why I was thinking that if we assign a global variable here, before we go through and loop through them, we could then check the final result and see if it matches the total number of issues. And if it is, then that's a bug. That's where the problem lies. So if we were to say var, we can't do it there. We would need to go up to, let's go up to here. Private int excluded issues count. Let's just leave that there. Copy. Where's my... Let's come back to there. I forgot where we were. Here. This one. Actually, you can do it there. If no issues, return an empty list. If no issues, return an empty list. Yeah, not following. Oh, I see. No, I think I see what you're saying. Yes, I see what you're saying. But we still need to do this equals 0, right? And then here, if excluded count equals issues.count, return new list of issue. Yes. The only thing I don't like about this is that the usage of that global variable inside and outside. I mean, you could return it as a... We could return it as something, but let's see if it works. So... I mean, so would I. So would I. But without, I mean, it's just work at that point. So without returning a tuple, we would have to create a class that is, we would have to create a class to hold the number of included issues, the number of excluded issues, return that from this check for valid, blah blah blah. None of that is impossible. But that also means this are private, so we don't have to worry about adding it to the true if included issue, false if. But if we're going to go at the bother of recording the count, would that be useful elsewhere, do we think? I've just spotted another dancing minion on my Twitter stream. That courtesy of Manfred. You're welcome. I don't know what to do for the best here. I really don't. I really don't know what to do. Let's just start. Let's just not procrastinate too much. So included issues count var excluded issues count equals 0. So we could say copy included issues count equals that. Copy excluded issues count equals that. If included issues count plus excluded issues count am I not getting to the same point? Oh no, it's a for each. Yes, no, you're right. Sorry. No, they're absolutely right, sorry. If included issues count plus excluded issues count is not equal to 1, then we should be at the same place. But now we have the benefit of knowing what we could do. So let's if just catching up on some stuff here. I think I'm going to fire up a vagrancy stream. Working with snapshots just pissed me off, so I need to PowerShellify them. Always choose another time slot today. Different, yes. Oh, I'm going to wait till later. But then I'll be sleeping. Better when the issues regarding multiple labels are allowed. So, if included issues count is greater than 0, return true. Don't know why I haven't put brackets on there. Return false. Right? "7 PM my time works best for me." Time zones do indeed suck. They really, really do. So then, whatever this was called from, which was here, we can say, what do we want to say? How do we... Oh, so now we're still counting. So this is not a global at this point. So this is just var excluded issues count if not that, excluded issues count plus equals 1. Yes? That's what I said, right? I think. So we can go up to here and change that to be there. And then this can come out now. Don't need that. As long as there's at least one included issue, then we allow it. So that variable could be a boolean. We're talking about this one here. So false by default, so you're saying. And then equals true. And then like that. Has included issues equals false. Oh, I see what you're saying. So this is now wrong. Because I said included issues return true. So if that copy has included issues equals true, and then if not has included issues, like that, I think. Are we on the same page? I think we might be. That build. Beautiful. Let's write a comment here. If there are no issues assigned to the milestone that have a label that is part of the labels to include array. If there are no issues assigned to the milestone that have a label that's part of the labels to include array, then that is essentially the same as having no closed issues assigned to the milestone. In this scenario, we want to raise an error, so return an empty issues list. $7 a.m. tomorrow. I don't get up at 7 a.m. No. I normally get up at like 5:30. 6 a.m. is fine as well. Your GMT plus 7, are you making it something between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m.? Time zones are horrible. Okay, so let's, while I'm catching up some of the chat, I'm going to go and build this thing again. I missed it. Let's go and build it one more time. I'm now seeing more dancing minions, courtesy of Maurice this time on the old Twitters. Gotta love a bit of dancing minion. So in terms, I'm just reading Manfred's comment here. I think Gary must have done some night shifts to get it down so low. We've just finished off the rest in a day's work or so. So I'm going to put my hand up and say, I did all the easy ones. It's as I was going through the moderation queue, I genuinely went through and did the easy ones. So I did all of the ones from Christoph, I did all the ones from Maurice, I did all the ones from Bill Curran, I did all the ones from Kim, if there were any, Paul's ones, because the way I tend to go through the moderation queue is when I go through the moderation queue, I have a view to getting it empty. So although I'm moderating them out of sync, my idea is I'm going to get them done. So I find it easier to moderate all of Christoph's packages, for example, because then I know his style. I know what to look for. I know what might be wrong, sort of thing. So it's easier for me to go through all of Christoph's ones in a oneer rather than jumping to a Christoph one, jumping to a Bill's one, jumping to a Kim's one. So I'm in that context. So by doing that, I kind of cheat a little bit because then I don't have to the individual ones from maybe new maintainers that need more work. I'm getting through the bulk of them because I'm kind of cheating a little bit. But it's kind of how I do it, right? To an extent, but like I say, my idea is that I was going to get through the moderation queue and complete it, but genuinely my battery ran out on my laptop. I'd said to myself, I'm going to moderate as many packages as I can before my battery runs out on my laptop, and I went through all the easy ones, and then my intention was to go through, finish off the last remaining ones, but Manfred got there before me, and I was aware of those ones. Manfred, they're on my list. They're on my list here to go back and finish those ones off. So yeah, that's my moderation story. And I did have a picture of my battery status on Slack, just as a reiteration that I wasn't fibbing. But there is a method to my madness when it comes to the moderation queue. And I see that Stevie's just tweeting as well. I'm going to like and retweet that as well while we're waiting on this build. I'm going to like Kim's tweet on Twitter as well. Right. This will fail, and then we're back to having a thing. So this time round, we'll have to go back and delete the release, won't we? So this time round, we should not. This release should not get created, he says. So if we go back to this and run this. Ooh. That's not what I expected. We get a bad issue. What did I break? What did I break? Oh no, I know what it was. It's okay. It's okay. File. Save as. C. GitHub. Organizations. Git tools. GitReleaseManager. Build artifacts. Temp. Published. That one. That one. And the name is going to be. The name's going to be that, but all files. Save. No, I think the issue is that because I rebuilt, it cleaned out the build artifacts folder, which meant that my YAML file went away, so it's no longer got the build in the list of things to exclude. Now we're there. So now that works as expected, but this error message is now slightly incorrect now, because it's not that there's no closed issues, it's there are no closed issues, or all the closed issues are excluded issues, so we need to update that. So if we go back to here and say here, this one, yes. So no closed issues have been found for milestone, or all assigned issues are meant to be excluded from release notes. Aborting creation of release is what I think we wanted to say. So I think that's it, right? Because we're coming to the top of the hour. So let's go back the way, and let's make sure that we haven't broken everything. So if we go back to issues and and then close this one, mark as closed. So we've got two issues, one is excluded, one's not. So this should create a release. In my opinion, too much text. If make a suggestion, I'm happy to accept a suggestion. This should create a release with one issue. And it was created. So then we come up here, releases, it'll say 2, and that's fine, because the total number of issues is 2, but one of them was one that was closed and included, so it gets reported here. That makes sense to me. Okay, I'm okay with that, I think. But what I am going to do, so that I don't break some of my integration tests that are coming along later, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to remove this one from the milestone so that it doesn't get in the way of other things. So let's go back over here to this one, and up to here, 72, GH-72, onto here. So what have we done? We added an issues count, so if the issue is specifically 0, then we throw an error message. We might come back to that error message in a minute. And then in here, we are returning a bool or not. Bool is an indicator of whether it's an included issue or whether it's an excluded issue. We should probably write that down. But it's coming to the top of the hour, so what I'm going to do is I am going to create a draft PR for this and work on getting that updated. So G872 was all about don't create release when not required. If there are no closed issues assigned to a milestone, or if the issues assigned to the milestone all have excluded labels, then a release shouldn't get created. Instead, an exception should be thrown. Okay, so let's commit that. And let's go on here, and this one, git push origin. That's going to throw a wobbler. I'm going to grab that, put that on there. That should allow me to walk over to here. And did I push that to the wrong? Why am I not getting my old? Feature 72, new branch. It's a little strange. Oh, now it appears. There we go. I'm not ignoring your comments, Kim. I just want to get this PR created, and then I'll have a discussion. Related issue. This is going to be fixes. Oh, you haven't been doing that all night. Don't start now. Fixes 72. Doesn't make sense to create a release when there are no valid issues assigned to the milestone. Tested during stream using fake repository, screenshots, checklist. Absolutely it does. Absolutely it probably does. Haven't updated anything though. I have read that. I have added tests. No. So let's do that. Let's create a draft PR. Okay, so comments from Kim are, or comment from Maurice was it's too much text. So PR's up. So if you wanted to provide some feedback on the error message, that'd be great. Regarding your build error, if we can drop the build.sh file, I can create one that takes into account when an SDK is missing. Been working on a PS script for exactly that, while still working on it though. Based on the one in Git version, but still taking into account the user installed packages and working with logging versions. So, the reason I'm hesitant about this is because ultimately, we, the Cake team, have on our plates, we still have on our plates to create a generic build.ps1 file that will work for everything and include .NET Core, all that sorts of things. We haven't come to a decision about how we're going to proceed with that. So I'm not against having build.ps1 file, assuming that works under PowerShell core running on my Mac. I've got no objections to it. So if you wanted to take a stab at that, I'm open to that, certainly. I'm assuming that will just install the .NET Core SDK that's required into the local .NET folder. So I've no objections to that. Yeah, I've no objections whatsoever. So that's up. That needs some work. I will finish doing my part on that. And then what's left then is that one I think is fixed. Even based on the testing that we've done today, I think that one's fixed. That's the one we've just done. This one, I think Kim had assigned to 0.10.0. But only if it isn't solved. Okay, cool. You were working on, or you took a stab at this dependency injection one, Kim, I think, didn't you? But I think did it get added to the milestone? I don't think I added it to the milestone. Been looking at it yesterday. Oh, that was it. This was the comment I remember reading. So let's bump this one then. If this is too much just now, I'm happy to bump that to the next one. So let's bump that just now. So this is a bug I think is fixed. That's the one we've just worked on. Update logging I think still makes sense if we can get it in. That makes sense. That's a documentation one. Excuse me. This is one I was going to look at as well. I think this is an easy one. These are just two things that need to get done, just work needs to get done, and then that one is the integration test. The biggest blocker for it is to make it work with... Okay, so does that mean... Would that be any easier if we switch the Spectre CLI then? And just strip out command line parser? What are your thoughts there? Well, I have you. Because I bumped that one to the other milestone. So I'm not against doing those two things in unison, if that makes sense. I can bring the Spectre CLI one back into the 0.10.0 and do them both together. Did that make sense? Shall I do that? Specifically, because I know the guy. Which one do we need to rustle up? So is there functionality in command line parser that we're currently using that we wouldn't have if we made that switch? I know that one of them was the having a collection of arguments as a single option. But that one could be done by adding an additional token parser, your own custom token parser. So that part was carried out. That part was possible. Let's have a quick look then. GitHub.com/ I can't remember so let's do... Where's my mouse gone? Oh, it's over here. Spectre.cli. Be kind to Patrick, indeed. An extremely opinionated command line parser. Oh, hold on. So, is there an open issue already with Kim for what you're thinking, or do we need to get something raised so that we can chase up Patrick? And Manfred saying, before you finish for today, we should talk about one important matter. Go on then. What's that? Are you getting Paul on... Tell you what. Let me send him a message right now. Hobby. Remind me to talk to you tomorrow about Box Starter. Manfred is wanting to review some of the open issues / PRs. Thought it might be a good idea to get you onto a stream to go through some of those. What are your thoughts? Right. So I've sent him a message, and he should reply to me tomorrow morning, because his current Slack notifications are turned off. But he should get back to me about it tomorrow. as I've already done for it, only slash. Okay, so based on that though, so let's preemptively do that then. Let's bump Spectre to 0.10.0 and work through that. So if you can go through that and see if add some details into this about if it makes sense, and if it makes sense to do both that and the serial log at the same time, let's definitely go ahead and do that. I thought it was, but I can't see it now. I don't remember the exact details. I will need to look at the work I've already done for it. Only slash. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. And then, like I say, I'll tidy up the remaining issues that need to be done. And then, if we can get to a point where we can close this off and get this released, that'd be great. My voice is starting to go. What I was hoping to look at in future streams, out with the box starter one, if we do that, it would be I want to get back to the Chocolate VS Code extension. It's kind of what I want to get to. I want to spend a dedicated bit of work to get that shipped, and then once I've done that, I'm wanting to get back to cake.recipe to then get back to the Cake Contra organization stuff. So that's kind of my long-term goal. Yeah, so that's that. I don't think I have anything else to say at the minute, other than it's getting late here and I need to think about going to bed. So, excuse me. Thank you all for coming along. It's been good fun. First stream of the new year. So, to the best of my knowledge, I'll be doing my Friday lunchtime stream as per normal. So hopefully see some of you there for that. Failing that though, I will be around next week here at the same time. So thank you all for coming and hanging out. It's been good fun. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.